Hello, before we get started, let us first introduce ourselves. My name is Claire Gilroy-Scott and I'm a partner in the employment team at Goodman Derrick.
My name's Emily Kearsey and I'm a solicitor in the employment team at Goodman Derrick.
We have recently presented a number of workshops covering common HR horrors. This is the second session in that workshop where we look at the topic putting up with pregnant Paula and her poor performance. This sort of situation is always a tricky one for employers to deal with, and we see it happening quite often in practice. But first, we want to put this session into context. Research by the EHRC last year found that 1 in 9 mothers reported that they were either dismissed or made compulsorily redundant where others in their workplace were not, or were treated so poorly they felt they had to leave their job. The research also found that 1 in 5 mothers said that they had experienced harassment or negative comments related to pregnancy. So we want to emphasise that this is not a session about how to dismiss an employee for being pregnant, because that would be discriminatory. However, it is possible to dismiss an employee who happens to be pregnant. But this will only be possible if the dismissal is not related to the employee's pregnancy, pregnancy-related illness, pending maternity leave, or her sex. Now, perhaps more so than in any other employment situation, inferences will be drawn, hence the warning on the slide. Proceed carefully. The facts and evidence in these cases will be crucial, and remember that all conversations and documents are likely to be subject to close scrutiny.
In our first scenario, Paula, your IT recruitment consultant, has just over 1 year's service. Her line manager has been unhappy with Paula's performance since day one, but decided to give her the benefit of the doubt until the end of her 3-month probationary period. However, the performance issues were not really discussed and she was allowed to remain in employment following the end of her probation. The issues are ongoing and her manager planned to tackle these in her annual appraisal, but that was then delayed. Her manager feels that enough is enough and invites her to a meeting because he wants to dismiss her on the grounds of capability. Paula notifies you of the fact that she is pregnant just before the meeting is scheduled to take place. You inform her manager of the pregnancy, but he still wants to dismiss her because she has under 2 years' service. What are the red flags here?
Well, here there are actually a number of red flags. Firstly, the probationary period was confirmed. There don't appear to have been any discussions with her about her poor or erratic performance, and no appraisals took place, and she also received no formal warnings. So, although you may have clear evidence of Paula's failure to meet performance targets, in this scenario there is no evidence that this was a serious concern to you, or that it might lead to her dismissal. The only evidence that you may have is in relation to the meeting request that you sent to her, and this will very much depend upon what that meeting request said. In the absence of this sort of evidence, inferences are likely to be drawn about the reason for dismissal at this stage.
Let's look at a slightly different set of facts with Paula. Paula, who again is your IT recruitment consultant, has just over 1 year's service. Her performance has been erratic from day one, but some weeks she has exceeded her targets. Her manager has vaguely given some thought about sending her on a training course which may help her. Recently, however, she has taken a lot of time off work, and her manager has had a couple of informal chats with her about keeping focused. Paula has now notified you of her pregnancy and you let her manager know. She continues to take time off and this is really affecting her performance. Her manager comes to you because she wants to do something about it. So what are the red flags in this scenario?
Well, here the main red flag will be her absences. You need to be very cautious about her absences in case they are pregnancy related. It is unlawful under the Equality Act 2010 to treat Paula unfavourably because of a pregnancy-related illness. As with scenario A, it won't help that the training had been identified but not actually arranged. Again, going straight to dismissal would be very risky in these circumstances. A fairer approach would be to consult with Paula. Perhaps consider whether anything can be done to make it easier for Paula to work, such as reduced office hours or working from home. Remember, as an employer, you have a duty to carry out a health and safety risk assessment for pregnant employees. This might throw up reasons for Paula's absences, and why not arrange the training, as this might in fact improve her performance.
Let's look at scenario C. Again, you have the same background facts. However, in this scenario, Paula's manager has carefully reviewed and documented progress with Paula at regular meetings. Her manager has also sent Paula on a training course to try and help her perform with more consistency. Her performance did not improve, and following her formal appraisal, her manager commenced a formal review process. He has issued a first written warning and a final written warning, with targets being set each month. A further meeting has been scheduled to consider dismissal. Paula now notifies you of her pregnancy. What are the red flags in this final scenario? Well, scenario C certainly provides a stronger basis on which to build a case of dismissal for poor performance that is unrelated to Paula's pregnancy. But you should still proceed very cautiously. It would be crucial to avoid mention of Paula's pregnancy during meetings with Paula and at internal meetings to discuss her, and also in any written documentation and correspondence. It should simply not be relevant. If Paula raises concerns that dismissal is only now being considered because she is pregnant, make sure you discuss these concerns with her and look out for what might be a grievance. And finally, make sure you follow your internal procedures.
That's the end of our session considering pregnant Paula, but please do check out our next podcast, which considers whether you can decline Delving Derrick's demand for a diabolical degree of data. And also please do check out our LinkedIn and Twitter at Employ Hero. Bye for now.